Live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Fox 12 Now. Thank you for joining us. I'm Greg Nibbler. We've been covering here today a lot of what's going on in the Columbia River Gorge. We're live here from the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom, bringing you information as soon as we can get it about the Rowena fire that is happening out there. 3,500 plus acres so far. A number of structures have been burned, but one of the things that, as we all know here, when it comes to wildfires in the Northwest, that you deal with even beyond the fire is the wildfire smoke. Something that can really be damaging not only to your home, but also to your body. I mean, this is something that can be extremely dangerous, and there are ways you can go about actually protecting your home and keeping it safe from that, or at least limiting some of that. And our friend Eric Goranson from Around the House Northwest is the person with some of those answers. So Eric, always good to have you on here. And I know we've talked about this, it seems like every year we end up talking about, wildfire smoke, how we can protect ourselves, and how to keep some of that out of there.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a tough one, and sometimes we get it bad, sometimes we don't at all, and it's just one of those hit and miss things. But when we get it, man, it can be really bad for your health. So the first concept I want people to think about is when you remove air from your house, like using your dryer, clothes dryer, using a vent fan in the bathroom or the exhaust fan in the kitchen, that air has to be replaced from someplace. So if you're running a dryer that's 150 cubic feet per minute of air that's going out, like we always talk about, that's 150 basketballs of air per minute, you're pulling in smoke from the outside to replace it. So not doing that laundry, not using the bath fans as much, trying to limit the air circulation that you're bringing in from outside is the first thing. And one of the ones that people forget the most is if you've got a crawl space, go close it up and put those vent covers back on like you would in the wintertime when you don't want things to freeze, because about 40 to 60% of your air, if you've got a crawl space, is going to come up through there. So if we've got a little breeze, that smoky air gets into the house, it's coming in no matter what you do.
Yeah, I think that is something that, a lot of people, including myself, don't think about. You're using that dryer, you're pushing that out. It is pulling it in. So wherever that may come from, but you could be pulling that smoke in there, and certainly something that you'll probably notice over time, but yeah, it can definitely be damaging to your health.
And if you've got a newer home, like in the last 3 or 4 years, take a look. You might have what they call an energy recovery or a heat recovery ventilator. What this does is that's grabbing in fresh air because your house is so tight, they required them to code. But take a look. It's probably a little box in with your HVAC system or wherever your utility room is. If you've got one of those, turn it off for a couple days if you've got smoke out there, because only the smartest ones that are just coming on the market now will actually take a look and see what the air quality is outside. So what you want to do is turn that off and set a meeting reminder or a Siri reminder, whatever you use for your calendar, to remember to turn it back on, because I guarantee it, you'll forget to turn it back on, and then you'll have lower indoor air quality after the smoke leaves.
Yep. Good to think about. It's like, make sure that you're following along with that. So yeah, good advice right there. What are some other things that people can do, because as you mentioned, it's hit or miss, but it feels like it's almost guaranteed somebody's going to get hit with wildfire smoke over the summer here if you're in the Northwest. From somewhere, some direction, some fire.
It's coming from California, it's coming from Canada, depending on where it's coming from, or in our own backyard. But the thing is, turn the lights off in your house on a nice bright day like that, and take a look around your doors and windows and see if you see light. That door to the garage, the door to out back, the door to the front. Take a look around there, because if you see light, that's air movement, and you're going to get that in there. So you can adjust it. You can put in new weather stripping. In a pinch, you can take a towel and put it down and maybe a damp towel on top of it just to be able to keep that from going through. I've used, duct tape or masking tape and garbage bags, in those situations. So just remember, you want to use something. If you're going to use something wet, don't put it on the hardwood floors. You'll ruin it. If it's tile, it's no big deal. But putting something wet on the floor can do damage, so be careful with that. But really, if you use kind of the non-stick masking tape, you're not going to hurt any finishes, that kind of stuff. And if you can get that sealed up in an emergency, you'll be better off that way. But really, just trying to keep, the pollution down inside your house. Maybe it's a good time to go outside and throw something on the grill instead of trying to heat up your house and do that on the inside as well, because you still want to turn the vent fan on in the kitchen on that stove. So the more you can do of microwave cooking and stuff that's not going to be used in a cooktop, the better off you will be. And of course, just maybe using that oven instead.
Yeah. I mean, take it easy on the cooking maybe during those days. Just microwave is all right. Sometimes it can be your friend in that situation. And I totally agree. I mean, I remember during the 2020 fires, I think that's probably what a lot of people, we were so inundated with smoke for so long, but that's when I discovered all kinds of issues that were going on below my doors where that was coming in. So good time to figure that out now before you get inundated if you have that opportunity right now.
Yeah, and a good dust mask will help you if you've got one of those, the certified N95, N99 masks or whatever. Cloth one's not going to do you a bit of good because the particles are so small, but that will help keep that out of your lungs. And then, the allergies get bad at that point too. So just make sure you're drinking lots of fluids and, of course, taking any allergy medicine to get that dialed down so you can breathe. And if you've got asthma, stuff like that, make sure you got your medications for that stuff just in case that you got plenty of that, because this stuff can get nasty out there.
It can get nasty and it can happen really quick, as evidenced just by this fire. It just happened. It started yesterday. I think when listening to a news conference about the Rowena fire, I think they got a phone call around 1:30 p.m. and it's right about 1:30. 24 hours later, 3,500 acres. Unfortunately, multiple homes, structures still burning. It can happen fast. So being prepared ahead of time, it's well worth it to take that time right now.
Couple other tips outside. If you're worried about smoke and you're worried about fire, just clear all that dead brush and stuff away from your house. Make sure that you just get that stuff cleaned up a little bit and keep that lawn nice and green and keep it looking good. So that way you've got less combustible stuff. But if anything's, able to get burned outside, if you've got dry brush up against the house, maybe it's time for yard day and get that cleaned up now before it gets too late. Yeah,
good idea. Just get rid of that extra stuff that can just really start something up, especially if you see some of those embers that could be coming all over the place too. So, great advice. Anything else that you think people should know?
Yeah, just be careful out there, around your house. If it's getting close to your house, make sure you got that stuff put away so you can bail out of there. Could you, my question I always ask people, if you're ready for this, can you grab everything that you want to grab in 15 minutes and get in the car and get out of there? Most people can't. So maybe it's time, if you're in that line of fire, to get that stuff lined up, kind of maybe stacked up by the door so you can get in and out and get that done. And then if you've got wood fences and stuff that go up to the house, maybe think about taking a screwdriver or a hammer and dropping those down if you're not trying to keep animals in there, because that's just a pathway of fire to your house. So little things like that can make a big difference. And, maybe putting that barbecue tank and stuff off the barbecue inside the garage or someplace away from the flames. That way, if you get something going, that's one less fuel source.
Yeah, all great advice. So thanks. And everybody feel free to share this as well, because again, this isn't going away. This isn't something that we're not going to be dealing with. And these are all things that you can do to help protect yourself ahead of time. And now I'm thinking about things I'm going to be doing this evening.
We got 90 more days my own advice. We got just the start of the season. So hold on tight.
Yeah, definitely. Let's talk about Around the House Northwest.
Oh man, we have an amazing house coming up this weekend that we start out with. It is so big. It is the biggest house we've ever done. It is 20,000 square feet on the Willamette River, 12-car garage. The ballroom has more square feet than my entire house does. This place, it has a Star Wars playroom that looks like somebody from, one of the kids' places built it like if it was, the Rainforest Cafe, but it's made to look like with rope bridges and everything else. Wow. And there's a sword room. I mean, this house, you could play the game of Clue real life in it and get lost.
I mean, everything about that. Yeah, I want to see a sword room, a Star Wars room.
Yeah. It just had an $8 million remodel. So,
wow. Okay.
I mean, there's an island in the lake in the front yard. It's just,
Come on.
It's nuts. It's nuts.
And that's on this week's episode. That's one of the things.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's so big that we actually went into the second segment. So we not only do the first one, we do half of the second one, because it took us 4 people in 4 hours just to be able to get the thing on film. So it was incredible. And then we run to Chown Hardware, and then I finally help and go over and check in with Liz and Jenna on the kitchen remodel that we've been doing over there, the little update refresh they've been doing over there at their house. And so we're going to put a nice little bow on that project, where they decided to upgrade their kitchen for under $1,500. And can they do it?
I love that. And I love the under $1,500. That's a good price point right there.
It's the yin and the yang for the episode. We got to start out with a $10 million house and then see if we can do a remodel for $1,500 so the rest of us can feel good about it. So
yeah, exactly. So a little bit of both ends right there. Well, for everybody out there who wants to watch this episode of Around the House Northwest, how can they do so?
All right, if you missed last week's episode, don't worry, you can catch it tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Fox 12 Plus, but the brand new one, 10 a.m. on Saturday, Fox 12 Plus, and of course, Sunday at 6 o'clock. And then later in Saturday afternoon, it'll end up on the YouTube channel over there at Fox 12. So you can find it over there. And with our, 650 different segments or so that we've got over there, creeping towards 700. It's wild how many pieces we have over there.
That is a lot. So it's something that everybody can check out. Of course, you can share these episodes and these segments as well, especially this one today, with wildfire season upon us. Good time to think about all that stuff that we were mentioning there at the beginning. Well, Eric, always great to have you on here. Thanks, you. Brother. And for everybody watching, this is Fox 12 Now. We've got lots of coverage here this afternoon. We'll keep you up to date on anything else that we find out about the wildfires there in the Columbia River Gorge. But I would also say, KPTV.com, we've got a constant running update there as well. It sounds like we're going to be getting more information from some of the firefighting crews later on this afternoon, so we'll let you know as soon as we get that. And if there's breaking news, I'll be right back here. Otherwise, I will talk to you in about 10 minutes or so with a completely different segment, but that's coming up. So we're going to take a quick break. So I'll talk to you soon. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.